Hey everybody, welcome back. Indie Pride here, and more Beginning of the End Times multiplayer action is on the way. Thanks to everybody who participated in the White Dwarf giveaway. Most of the winners have responded and gotten their codes. Just waiting on a few more. You guys shared some awesome stories, I really appreciate that. In this replay, I am playing as the High Elves of Ulthuan with a couple of new units that you guys haven't seen before. Just saw the White Lion Chariots of Chrace, the bodyguards of the Phoenix King for millennia. Very versatile unit with a bunch of mobility and killing power. Dragon Princes of Caledor for my cavalry, and Swordmasters of Hoeth with great swords and upgraded armor for my infantry. We have the Sisters of Avelorn, new in this version of the End Times. Incredibly powerful bow unit with long range and one of the best shooting units in all of 8th edition tabletop. We've got Phoenix Guard, Shadow Warriors, more Swordmasters of Hoeth, White Lions of Chrace over on this flank, and then in the front a bunch of Lothern Sea Guard and High Elf Archers will round out the rest of my infantry. More White Lion Chariots over on this side, and I also have a repeater bolt thrower. This is also new in this version of the End Times. Can lay down some serious suppressive fire and shred enemies from long range if they don't deal with it quickly. So as is typical of the High Elves, I'll be looking to press my range advantage and force my opponent into some hasty engagements that he doesn't want to take. Up front for Rannin from Warhammer Weekend Times. He's going to be my enemy, and he has a bunch of Hochland long rifles on Master Engineers, some Empire Swordsmen and Greatswords as his main line. Helstorm Rocket Battery, as always, can cause a ton of havoc from range. Really scary unit. And we got some Inner Circle Knights and Demigryph Knights with Halberds and Outriders out on the flank. Now, on his other flank, he has the Knights of the Blazing Sun, the Chosen of the War Goddess Myrmidia, moving through the snows on the left. We'll get a good look at these guys as we shift over here. Some more Outriders as well. And yeah, so he has a lot of heavy cavalry, as you'd expect. Might have a cavalry advantage because of those Demigryph Knights with Halberds and the multiple HP, but I definitely have a range advantage. However, Helstorm Rocket Battery, as always, is going to be incredibly annoying, just immolating a bunch of my High Elves up front. I always move into spaghetti lines in these kind of situations because it's your best way to mitigate the damage from the really powerful artillery of the Empire. And then I'll be opening up with my bolt throwers into the really low armor of the Master Engineers, which were a really risky choice against the High Elves. They have really low armor, they do have good range, but they're not going to outrange Sisters of Avelorn or any of those units. So you can see a lot of his skirmish units are already getting whittled down by my Lothern Sea Guard and my High Elf Archers. The Shadow Warriors and the Sisters of Avelorn just give me so much range damage, and of course the repeater bolt thrower as well. So I am going to be forcing him into an engagement. Here come the Dragon Princes of Caledor into the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and they're going to charge straight into the center of that formation, and the White Lions causing havoc with those Outriders who are not going to get away in time. White Lion Chariots are really fast, great for killing enemy skirmishers, and actually enemy cavalry as well. Like I said, very versatile, pretty tanky chariot unit as well. Might be a little bit too good, honestly, but yeah, they're going to be very useful in this game. So they're going to charge into the flanks of these Knights of the Blazing Sun, and the Chosen of the War Goddess Myrmidia are just going to get completely eviscerated as those side chariots pull through and destroy them. Bit of a micro mistake on this side. The Outriders are going to get caught up by the High Elf Spears and chopped to pieces, and I am going to handily win the cavalry advantage on this flank with the White Lions just pulling through and charging in the back of that heavy cavalry. They're going to have no chance. And my Dragon Princes will take about half of their casualties there, but they will come out ahead for sure. Now the Swordsmen and the Greatswords are getting ready to move up. Helstorm Rocket Battery moving into a new position to start firing in on my more expensive elite infantry. And the Demigryph Knights with Halberds and the Outriders are out on the flank, getting ready to engage. Now this is going to be a tough cavalry fight for him because he's going to have to fight near my skirmishers and near my spears, and I have a lot of spears. Like I said, one of the best things about the High Elves, why they're so good. The Lothern Sea Guard double as a long-range skirmish unit and as a shield wall spear unit, which is a ton of versatility, forces your opponents into some really crappy engagements. But I am going to make a bit of a micro mistake here, have some High Elf Archers outside my little new box, I guess you could call it, and his Demigryph Knights are going to get in, but they were really spread out, so he didn't get to kill very many off the charge. And now my Phoenix Guard, the Guardians of the Shrine of Azurian, are with their Halberds in Halberd wall, getting ready to take the charge. And the Demigryphs are going to avoid that, as you'd expect, and charge into some Lothern Seaguard. Now, they do have multiple HP, so they'll be able to charge in and then pull out without taking many losses, if any at all. And he's actually going to do a really good thing here. He's going to blob up my Lothern Seaguard and then shoot in with his Helstorm Rocket Battery. Really good move from him. Going to completely just immolate that entire unit, which was really bad. I lost almost an entire Lothern Seaguard unit. And now my Dragon Princes of Caledor and the White Lion Chariots are going to go into melee with the Inner Circle Knights and the Demigryph Knights. Now, in a 1v1 fight, I do expect the Dragon Princes of Caledor to beat Inner Circle Knights, but the Demigryph Knights with Halberds are a serious issue. But my White Lion Chariots should turn this a little bit in my favor, and then backed up by the rest of my spears, might be able to just completely dominate this engagement. We'll see. I am a little bit slow on the uptake with my reinforcements, but here come the Swordmasters of Hoeth with their armor upgrades and their great weapons. They are going to be charging into the back of the Demigryph Knights, and we'll watch them go to work. I love the Swordmasters in this mod. Their spinning animations and just their aesthetic in general looks so great, and they are going to be able to do really well against these Demigryphs who are already tied down with my Dragon Princes of Caledor. Ranon did a good job charging into the back of my Dragon Princes, but it was not enough. I'm overlapping that engagement and should be able to win. You see some more Demigryphs causing some havoc with my archers, and now the main line has clashed, and my Lothern Seaguard shield wall will try to hold against the Faith, Steel, and Gunpowder of the Empire. White Lions of Chrace deep in melee combat, and I am going to cut down the Empire General with the spinning attack animation from one of my great weapon units. That'll be really nice. Bit of a morale penalty going towards the Empire, and it looks like my main line is going to hold pretty well, and the back lines are just complete havoc at this point. My White Lions have gotten into the back, charged into some Greatswords, killed some of his crossbows as well, and the Helstorm Rocket Battery seems to be tied down. More Greatswords coming in to reinforce. I believe those have an armor upgrade as well. They look a little bit more shiny than usual. Still have their fancy hats though. I love the Empire aesthetic. It's so nice. But now the White Lions are going to have to pull out and start going for some more charges. That mobility is being so useful in the back lines as I deal with the skirmishers and artillery crews. Don't want to be staying in melee with the great swords for too long there. But I did manage to clear up the Demigryph Knights and the Inner Circle Knights over on this side, and now his Outriders are also routing. So most of his mobility is gone now, and I still have 2 half-strength cav units and 2 half-strength chariot units to run down units that are routing, or just kill the lightly armored stuff in the back. More, looks like Lothern Seaguard or High Elf Spears charging into melee, and they'll be tying down these crossbow units, and things have shifted very much in my favor, and that long range from the High Elves and just their versatility in general has proved a big boon in this battle. Great Swords held the line really well against this Dragon Princes of Caledor charge, which is interesting. I was kind of surprised about that because I got a really nice charge off and only killed about 10 or so. But Swordmasters reinforcing should be able to overpower these Great Swords, who will hold down the combat for as long as possible. But things are like 90% in my favor at this point, and it was just quick and bloody and brutal, which is how the High Elves like it. They will just shred you from range and then overpower you with the cavalry, and that's definitely what happened here. Now this is going to be a really nice shot from the Helstorm Rocket Battery. Gonna just rip through my White Lions and some Lothern Seaguard who are moving up. Got a little bit blobbed up there, and my Shadow Warriors are also moving into range. Gotta be careful, I'm really blobbed up. If another shot comes in, I could just kill an entire 2 units or so. And I actually destroyed one of his crossbow units here. I think that was the Stern Tower Marksman Crossbow Regiment, and they just got completely outclassed by the longbows of the Shadow Warriors. Look at that devastation. Just absolutely brutal. And the High Elves are one of the few factions in Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Times who have a similar amount of versatility when compared to the Empire. And generally speaking, the Empire can just sit back and watch as their gunpowder units and artillery do their work, and then with the heavy cavalry they can field with the Demigryphs and the other knightly orders, they can just overpower you on the flanks. But the High Elves can push them out of that comfort zone with all of their really long range units, and then their cavalry is actually can go toe-to-toe with them as well. So this battle had some pretty brutal results in regards to the way I was able to force a melee engagement, force him to come to me, and just shred him from range, and my cavalry on the flanks performed very well. When the Dragon Princes of Caledor and the White Lion Chariots work together, they can do some serious damage. Now, when you send the White Lion Chariots in to a cavalry unit, like a charging lance cavalry, heavy cavalry like a Knights of the Blazing Sun, if they're the first unit to take the charge, that's not necessarily a good thing. You'll do a lot of damage off the charge, but then you get surrounded and destroyed. But if you do it like the way I did, where you have the Dragon Princes charge in, take the charge with their high armor values, stick in melee, and then have the chariots come in from the rear and just start pulling through the enemy that way, that is a fantastic way to overpower some really tough cav engagements on the flanks, and it worked really well that battle, and I think that's basically how you want to use them. So in terms of kills, I had about 1,400, Ranon had about 800, Shadow Warriors with 209 kills and 0 losses, Sisters of Avelorn 137 kills, only 1 loss, so good. Even the Bolt Thrower did serious damage with 256 kills. I think it was a mistake for Ranon to bring skirmishers against me, because they just can't pay for themselves with so many high elf arrows filling the air. So a rush army with heavy cavalry superiority might have been a better choice with the Empire in this matchup, and the White Lion Chariots as well had a fantastic debut, hoping to kill some powerful heavy cav and skirmishers in the back. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be bringing you some more content very soon. See you guys next time.